you value it, and then you the secondary thing I'm thinking about is just the team rhythm and trying to figure out combinations and different environments where we can be effective on offense, and then trying to figure out the best coverages on defense. And we tried a few things tonight, and I'll look at the film and see how effective it was. And then as far as Kevin is concerned, he's just as efficient as he's always been. And even though we've scripted a lot in practice and he's done a ton with us, when you get out there on the floor, it's a totally different deal. So there were some hiccups tonight as to like what play we were running and that kind of thing. And it's just pretty cool to be able to, give the guy the ball and he can get to his spot and get a really good shot. And I thought the team fed off of him just being himself tonight. I still thought he turned down a few looks. One he tried to throw to DA, and DA thought he was shooting the ball. And I think that kind of rhythm will come as the guys play more together.
Curious, obviously, putting him in, I think, maybe like 2.5 minutes left in the fourth. Was that just to get him a little more time in? Or?
Yeah, just, everything right now is about conditioning, but it's also about team conditioning, down the stretch. Even in a game like that where you feel like you have a good chance to win the game, there's certain things that happen in those environments, whether it be a pick and roll coverage where we got to space the floor effectively, or just getting the ball in bounds versus pressure down the stretch. And, in those environments, it'll be Chris, Book, and Kevin down there handling the ball. And so I wanted to, try to space the minutes out tonight where I could finish with them. And I just wanted him back out there with those guys just to see how it would look.
Was there anything?
It's been a long time since you've coached him every day. Since that year in Oklahoma City. Do you anticipate that he'll be a more different type of leader as far as dealing with his teammates? Or
I don't think that's his deal. You know what I'm saying? I think too many players in the NBA get too much pressure to lead. I just don't think it's necessary. It's my job to lead, and players do it in spots. But that's the one thing I told him. I said, look, I'm not looking for you to lead. We just want you to be yourself and hoop. And I think that's where he's the most free to be himself. We know we have Chris. Book leads in his own way. Chris has been a great leader his whole life. We just want Kevin to be himself. And I think he can show nuances of leadership, and I think he does that with the way he works. It's been interesting to hear the comments from different players and different people in the gym when they see him go through his workout. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before, and I think that's had a huge impact on everybody in the building. So I think that's a form of leadership.
When you look at just the other guys, I hate to call them the other guys, but you know what I'm saying?
They have names.
I know, I'm getting to the names. When you look at the way Devin and DeAndre started the game, being aggressive.
Yeah.
How important is that?
I think that's how we're going to find out who we are. I think too many times when you try to integrate high-level players, there's a tendency to, put on a different mask to try to help somebody fit in. I think that, from my perspective, I think that prolongs what you're trying to accomplish. I think the more we live in who we are and live up to the character of our team, it allows for the people that you're integrating to fit in and see where they can be effective, and so they can be themselves as well. And I don't think it would – I think I would have a lot of trepidation if we had selfish guys. We just don't. We move the ball from an offensive perspective, and then on defense we sacrifice for each other. So I'm hopeful that – it's only one game, but I'm hopeful that everybody just remains in character so that we can figure out who we can be.
You mentioned defensively, he had a couple of blocks earlier. How important is that aspect of
it's one part of his game that, you have to be really, really good offensively, which he is, to not talk about his defense because he's pretty good. It just speaks to how good he is on offense, but most people don't talk about the defense. He's always had a tenacity about him on the ball. And I think that's something that, got us going early when he was able to get those two block shots, just guarding the ball. And that's something that we pride ourselves on, being able to guard the ball so we don't have to help.
On the defense front, with Kevin, when he's able to kind of protect the rim on the weak side, do you think that'll give you some leeway to be more aggressive like DeAndre and Boston coming into the wrong? Or do you see it as mostly the defense piece of your switching?
It's hard to say. I mean, you have to play a few more games before you start making declarations about what you can and can't do, but we hope there's a possibility where, because he can rim protect, it may allow for DA to be more aggressive in pick and rolls because you got Kevin sometimes behind you. It just depends. Sometimes you may be guarding a guy that's lifted and you can't get to the rim because you're guarding a guy that can shoot the ball. So that's hard to choreograph all the time. But when he is on the bottom weak side, and sometimes when you're guarding a guy that doesn't shoot it well, you can't be in rim protection.
And obviously, with just being the first game, he's still in the minute restriction. But in terms of the rotations, and the fact Kevin got to run with just the bench, KD got to run with just the bench, have you already kind of got an idea?
No, it's too hard to. It's too early to say where we're going to be because of the restrictions. Kevin's going to be in a restriction for a while. Not a long while, but he'll be on it for the next week or so at least. Book's coming out of his restriction a little bit, so he's starting to get his normal allotment of minutes. And then Terrence didn't play tonight, so that's another guy that would be thrown into the mix that can help us see where we're going to be. So I think we have a bit of time yet before we can start to cement anything as far as rotations are concerned.
In terms of the rest of the road trip, Monty, Kevin will play the rest of the road trip without questions.
We'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead, but we'll see. We'll see how he responded tonight. But I don't foresee any hiccups, but I just don't know just yet.
Thank you, Coach.
Can I go now?
Yep.
Okay.